Also, the king of the bongos. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome out Garry Marshall. Next up, we have Emma Roberts. Ashton Kutcher. Jessica Alba. Oh, woo. We've got Topher Grace. And Garry's bongo partner, Hector Elizondo. I thought you two were very impressive on the bongos there.
Well, you gotta start out with a little music, you know. Yeah. You get going. They all came from different places, so welcome. Hi.
You all feel very welcome. Was it like this on set all the time, guys?
Pretty much.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was like a giant family reunion. It's like a Marshall family reunion.
Oh.
Well, I know some of these people. I knew her when she was a little girl. Let us take a moment. She turned 19 yesterday. Yay! Happy birthday, Emma!
That's a coincidence because I turn 20 tomorrow, so that's good. There we go.
My goodness.
Now, Valentine's Day. It really is. It's quite a straightforward, simple concept, isn't it? A film all about Valentine's Day. Garry, why has there never been anything done like this before?
Because sometimes people don't like straightforward, simple. They think with this cast we should have done Anna Karenina or War and Peace, but we wanted to do a nice love story. And at these times in history, this time in history, when some things are messy out there, I would say it's nice to spend 2 hours in a nice and simple love story with some terrific actors, and it leaves you with hope. And I hope, not so good with a P, leaves you with hope and a good feeling.
Oh, you do get a good feeling when you see it. Because Valentine's Day, you know, it can make you sad, it can make you happy, depending on what your kind of state of relationship is, I suppose. But you have brought a fantastic cast to this film, you know, as well as the guys here. There's Kathy Bates, Bradley Cooper, Eric Dane, Patrick Dempsey, Jamie Foxx, Julia Roberts, George Lopez, Shirley MacLaine, going out of breath, Taylor Swift, Taylor Lautner, Queen Latifah. Quite a few people.
All in one breath.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you very much. It's not easy, surely, to get a cast like that together. How do you do it?
Well, ask them. We had a script. You start with a script written by a lovely lady named Catherine Fuqua, and other writers help with her after that. And then you don't cast people. You cast couples. You have to cast two people because in a love story, often people kiss. At least they look in each other's eyes, and you have to have people who can do that with each other. So we tried very hard by reading all the trade papers and discovered who wasn't mad at who just broke up, or who we got people who actually were maybe liking each other or would like to meet.
Did you find any, were you like blind date then? Did you find that you'd set anyone up on the set? Was there any love that kind of happened on set?
Did you guys, Hector got
I'm married.
Married.
Didn't strike anything up.
Well,
No.
he helped with the coupling and the cast. I think they vetted the would-be couples. I think Garry did a good job.
The newest couples with Taylor Swift and Taylor Lautner. You know, one's a vampire guy and the other girl writes songs, and they never met. So when you have particularly young people who never met, you start right away with the kissing scene, or else they worry about it for days. So you go right into kissing, and they kiss. The girl always likes it because she can say, the director told me I have to kiss you. So she's off the hook. She has license. And then they kissed, and about the first 3 takes were okay. About the 6th take, they started to go together, and they were an item.
It takes time.
So you are actually director, bongo player, and matchmaker extraordinaire.
Yeah, well, Hector and I both started as drummers, not making a living, and now we're doing okay, and we thought we'd still play.
Fantastic. Well, look, I suppose we should open questions out to you guys. Has anyone got a question? Okay, right at the front, right down here.
There's a question to Hector, as the longest-serving Marshall veteran here. Hector, can you tell us what it's like working for Garry and how he might have changed over the years?
Oh, working for Garry is We do films together in between softball and basketball. We believe that that the game, whether it's a ball kicking, hitting, shooting, is a metaphor for life. In between, we do movies. Other than that, Garry's, I don't think we play much basketball. He still hits to right field very well with men on base. That's important.
Yeah,
the
we
point is
play
that
in
we
the
always have
same-
fun while we're working, in spite of the long hours.
Did you two become friends from working together, or were you friends before you worked together?
We really became friends.
Sports.
He met me before I met him. He saw me on stage in New York 400 years ago. And we actually became friends after I didn't know who he was. I was invited to his basketball game, a famous Saturday morning basketball get-together. And I remember that someone was defending me, this tall gentleman he was strapped up and he had very fast hands. And I flipped a pass behind my back to my player, but unfortunately Garry's mouth was in between my pass and the other fellow. And he sunk to one knee and checked his teeth to make sure they were there, and everybody was silent. It was like an old E.F. Hutton commercial. Everybody took a deep breath in. I said, "What's the matter? It's an accident. He goes a fight." You know? And he says, "Come over here," or something like that. And I said, "What is this guy's? This is going to be a long afternoon here." He's on his knees. That's not a good position to start. What's wrong? He says, "You're a terrific actor. You're a lousy passer. I think I got a movie for you." And that's the way it started. And then we did our first movie together shortly after that.
He wore a dress in the first movie.
Yes.
I bet you look good in it as well. There we go. Right, okay, another question. Yes, shall we go to right at the front again here?
Thanks. Good afternoon. I'm Yuvi from Israel, and I have two questions. First to you, Ashton. You've been in Tel Aviv in the past, so what was the most romantic thing that you did in Tel Aviv? And the question for all of you, what was the most romantic things that you did for a partner of you?
Okay, so Ashton, do you want to start off? You've been to Tel Aviv then?
Yeah. The most romantic thing I did in Tel Aviv. Well, it's hard to say. I went. It's never as romantic as it may seem when there's like paparazzi following you around Tel Aviv. So I don't know that it was necessarily that romantic. But we did in the middle of the night we went and did a mikvah, and that was it's kind of a special spiritual moment. So that was pretty romantic. And then what was the second half of the question?
Second one was that. What's the most romantic thing you've done? Yeah.
That I've done ever? I don't know.
And for
Yeah, I think
I'm thinking.
everyone.
I think romance is something that you don't clock, that you don't keep track of, that you don't manage in that way. It's something that happens in a moment, and usually it's a period of time when you put yourself in an uncomfortable position for the sake of somebody else, and if you truly did that, and if you truly were just doing it caring about the other person, you may not even remember it. So that's kind of the position I find myself in.
Nicely evaded there as well. Very good. Very impressive. Okay, good answer though. Jessica, come on.
Oh man. Most romantic thing I've ever done for someone. I always try to do something for my husband that's completely selfless and something that I hope will rock his world in some form or fashion. Most of it's rated R, so I'll give you the PG version. I'll cook his favorite dessert. Not very.
No, that's
Keep
romantic.
it moving.
Okay, Topher.
Topher.
I remember one time, this is my former life, when I was working as a businessman, I found this this hooker, and I took her to the Regent Beverly Wilshire.
Pretty woman.
And I was like this really lonely guy. And we spent this weekend together. And she really changed I gave her a jewelry box, and she kind of I clapped it down on her fingers, and she was laughing. She had one of those crazy laughs. But then I found out there was a real person there, too.
But it takes time. It's Hollywood.
So, yeah, and she changed me, and I changed her. And we kind of, at the end, it was crazy. I drove up to her in this limousine. It was like a fairy tale.
Sounds beautiful. That should be a film, shouldn't it? Really amazing.
You step in a river once, it's not the same river, Yes.
Right, and there was a guy who worked in the hotel. It was just like you.
Same guy.
Yes.
Okay, Hector, come on. What's your most romantic?
Oh, let's see now. Well, I suppose spending part of my honeymoon in Joshua Tree National Forest. I love in the desert. Coming from New York City was my first exposure to the desert, and it was springtime. So there was this carpet of flowers, great color in the desert, and that was the most romantic thing, I think. Yeah.
Very good. And Garry, obviously, we
Emma
need to
wants
come.
to go
Oh,
last.
I know that's right. I'm coming round. But Garry, you've obviously been involved in quite a few romantic films. Surely this is because you have a very romantic lifestyle.
Sometimes it's pretty good. I think the most romantic thing is we renewed I'm married 47 years in March. So we renewed our vows, I don't know how many years ago. It wasn't quite my idea. The kids decided we would renew our vows, and they brought the wedding dress my wife wore, and it still fit her. And she didn't know. It was a surprise to her. She went out with her friends, and they had a few drinks. So she showed up a little tipsy at the renewal of the vows and wasn't sure what was going on. And I think it was a few years too late because I got on one knee to ask her to marry me. I couldn't get up. It was a whole thing. I have a new hip. It was a little bit messed up, but it was very romantic. And we did renew our vows, which we use, you'll see in the movie.
Very nice. Okay. And Emma, there you go.
I guess I haven't really done anything romantic for anyone. I think my boyfriend is more romantic than I am. I don't know. It's just like little things like sending like unexpected sweet text messages, or like when I'm out of town, I send postcards. I think that's sweet. I don't know. I'm not very romantic. Sorry.
It's a difficult question though, because you think sometimes you're romantic, but then if someone asks you, it's hard to remember what you've done.
Not.
So there you go.
She's 19. She's still
19 years old. I was a father at 19. I was. What did I know?
Okay, you've got that question answered okay for you? Next one. Okay, you've had your hand up for a while there, Zoe.
So, Ashton, you're very big on Twitter. Do you have any advice?
Should we have the microphone?
Okay,
now?
Ashton, you're very big on Twitter. Do you have any advice for men using Twitter, especially men about being discreet and sending messages to other girls or anything like that? How should people use Twitter and be happy and discreet on it?
Man, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't even think that people are currently using Twitter for what Twitter was originally invented for. So I think it's kind of redefined every day. Do I have any advice for how people use it? I mean, don't put any naked pictures up there of yourself. Like, it's just weird. It's not, it's not a porno environment. Let's keep it clean for the kids. I don't know that, like, there are certain things that don't need to be said in public and certain things that do. So use good discretion, and that's all I can say. I mean, I don't really have. I don't think Twitter's really a place to pick somebody up. So.
Ironing photo.
Pacing the what?
When she was ironing in her lovely bikini.
Well, she was ironing. Yeah, she happened to have a bikini on. I didn't get in too much trouble. I have to get picture approval from anything that I post. So if I post something, and I think it was that moment that created the picture approval. So I have to get picture approval before I post anything.
Oh, brilliant! Thank you.
I like that idea of picture approval. I'm going to make a note of that and tell my boyfriend that from now on. Okay, who else has got a question? Okay, should we go over there? Man in blue.
A question for Emma. You grew up probably in a film environment. Could you say something or tell us something about why you didn't want to become an actress because of your father and your aunt, and why you decided in the end, maybe it's probably in my genes, I should give into it and become an actress? And what is it that you like about acting, and have you talked about it with your father and your aunt?
I never not wanted to be an actress. I always, when I was younger, I was definitely a bit of an attention whore as a child. So now I love the idea of getting to like play different characters and tell different stories, and it's just when you're passionate about a project, it's nice to get the part and working with new people and traveling. And as far as my aunt and my dad, I don't really talk to them about acting or anything.
even with this, like, my aunt's in the movie, but we don't have scenes together, and we didn't even really talk about it. So yeah, I mean, when I see her, it's rare because we're always out of town, like in different places. So I just hang out with her and the family, and yeah, it's not really about work ever.
Thank you very much. Any more questions? Okay, so we go up the back there.
Hi, Annabelle Wilcott from So Feminine. Jessica, is it better to be alone or with Mr. Right Now, even if he's really hot?
Or Mr. Right Now, even if he's really hot?
Yeah.
I think it's there's nothing wrong with being with Mr. Right Now, even if he's really hot.
So would you, do you wait for Mr. Right, or do you stick with Mr. Right Now?
For what?
Exactly.
Where is this going?
Perhaps if I rephrase.
Like, do you tell Mr. Right Now that you love him?
Would you stay with Mr. Right Now, even if he's not the right one, just because you don't want to be alone? Or do you wait for the right one, even if you're going to be all by yourself?
As long as he doesn't get on your nerves. Once they start getting on your nerves, they gotta go.
I agree.
But you can stay with Mr. Right Now until that happens. I think I usually, it takes about a week and a half to a month before they get annoying.
Okay, bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, any more questions that are maybe a bit easier? Okay. Yep, down at the front here. Lady here. Where's a microphone?
There's a little lull until the mic comes.
I know. There we go.
Sorry, there we go.
Excellent.
Hi, this is to everybody. Do you pay much heed to Valentine's Day yourselves? And would your partners throttle you if you forgot? And how do you plan to show your partners you love them on Sunday?
Okay. Now, Emma, I hate to say this. You went last time,
I'm
so
first.
you have to go first. This time.
I'm just probably going to be alone or with some girlfriends on Sunday because I'm going to be here. And I don't really care too much about Valentine's Day. I've never had a Valentine or anything. I've always just spent it with my friends, so I don't really have much expectations for Valentine's Day.
You could send her one if you like. She's here.
Yeah, I'm free for a Valentine.
You're gonna
FYI.
You're going to get hundreds and hundreds of cards and flowers. That's it. Okay, Garry, are you into Valentine's Day?
Yeah, it's all right. It's a nice day. I'm now into the next day. We have another movie they sent me. I'm going to do different holidays. So we're talking about New Year's Day. You didn't know about it, but Hector does. He has a part. We'll talk to everybody. No, you have a part. I can't talk. It's a press conference. We're going to meet in the back. We don't get we go in a separate room, we don't talk to each other. But one thing I must mention, at the premiere, I saw it, I watch everything. At the premiere when Julia Roberts came in, first thing she did, she went over to her and she hugged her tight and said, "I love you" in your ear. Remember that on the red carpet line? So they do have these wonderful moments. I do. Valentine's Day, I'm going to be in, what? Go ahead.
No.
Valentine's Day, I'll be in Rome, and I'll be with my wife, and we'll say, okay, another Valentine's Day. We've done a lot of them, but we may even go to the movie. How's that? Why not? We'll go to the movie. She saw it 150 times, but she goes again. But I do believe you take a moment. Every time you can, you take a moment to say, hey, I love you, because, after all is said and done, those words still have a lot of weight if there's someone you were lucky enough to connect with in life.
Absolutely. Okay, Hector, how about you?
Every day is Valentine's Day. I'm a hopeless romantic.
Yeah?
So it's not a special deal for me. Just avoid the stress, duck the bullet. That's all. Would I get throttled if I forgot? No, I don't think so, no. I think I get fed very well.
Okay, Topher?
Valentine's Day causes me a lot of stress. I've been in the same position that my character is in the film in my mid-20s, where you're dating someone for a week or 2 weeks, and then this day rolls around, which is, you have to declare how you feel and kind of show your hand in some way. And I've been talking about this. One time, I just left town.
That's a good plan.
It was great. It was a great Valentine's Day.
You came back, though, presumably?
Oh. Eventually.
Fleeing is a good plan for Valentine's Day. Hasn't been done
Okay.
since the Middle Ages. Fleeing.
But something must have happened because when we usually cast the girls first, and we said to the girls, well, who would you like to have opposite you? You know, because it's going to be romance. And I remember I don't know how you think you got the job. You were a very good auditioner. But when I talked to Anne Hathaway, we had a list of people, and she looked at Topher, Grace's name, and said, I had a crush on him. I said,
write that. If everyone would write that, please. Annie Hathaway had a crush on me?
Yes, write it down in the notes. He did.
Thank
See
you.
hands moving.
Come on, let's get the word out in Europe. Yeah, I've known Annie for over 11 years before either of us had done a film. Of course, I've known Ashton the same amount of time too, but I've worked with him, so I thought, it's a great opportunity to be able to work with a friend, take what we have in real life, and hopefully put it up on the screen.
Okay. Jessica, I have to come to you with the Valentine's Day question. Will you be celebrating it?
Yes, I will be flying home the day before, and I have a little cherub, my daughter, that I'm going to be kissing and hugging up on and loving all day, and a hubby. And I think that's what my day is going to consist of. Lots of hugs and kisses.
Very good. And Ashton?
Yep. Yeah, don't forget Valentine's Day. That's not a good thing to do. That's a bad move. Valentine's Day is, if you're single, it's great because it's sort of like a free hall pass day. You kind of can do whatever you want. Me, not so much. This is a day to definitely remember. I think the great thing is that, you sort of have all those feelings and all that love and inside of yourself. And a lot of times we think that we say the things that we're feeling, but generally we don't. They're just in us. And so to have a day to sort of commemorate it, and a day where you can manifest all that love that you have inside of you, I look at it as a great opportunity, especially once you've been in a relationship for a while, because sometimes you need something to sort of restart the circuitry again. Like you have to go out of your way to give in a way that you don't usually do to sort of reignite that giving cycle that takes place. This year, in addition to promoting this film, we sort of knew that we were going to be traveling. So my wife and I decided that the best way we could share our love with one another was to share it with other people. So we started a foundation called the DNA Foundation to help trafficking victims. And there's a group in New York called GEMS Girls, and they help these girls get off the street and get their lives back going again. And so we're making the girls from that foundation our Valentines this year, and we're going to do something special for them so they know that they can be loved without someone asking for anything in return.
And is there some kind of website or something that people can look at that, the kind of foundation?
Yeah, our foundation is the DemianAshtonFoundation.org, or it's on Facebook as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, next question. Oh, up the back there. Yeah.
She's been waiting a long time, that lady.
Thank you. I have a question for the director, and I have another question for the director, but maybe it's for the rest of the character as well. First of all, I would like to know, why do you love making love story?
Yeah.
And the second one, for everyone, is why do you think people love watching love story? It's maybe because they don't feel love in the real life, and they need to see love at least for 2 hours.
Okay, thank you very much. So, Garry, the first one's for you, and it's quite simply, why do you love making love stories?
Well, it makes people have a smile very often, and it makes them feel good inside if we're successful. Sometimes we blow it all together and people say, I don't believe they're in love at all. Let's go home and watch something blow up. But I'll do one of the other movies. Or Blue, Avatar. But I think it does, I've always I was very sick as a child, and I was always sick. I know Steven Spielberg went around filming his mother in the kitchen, and I went around coughing and sneezing and asking for Kleenex from my mother in the kitchen to blow my nose. So to make people feel good after I felt bad a lot, I think is a part of it. And I know people, I can't get the P's out of this mic. People all like to talk about it. I mean, they can't tell you exactly, but they all have felt love in some way. And the poor two girls, Jenifer, Garner, Jessica Biel, were supposed to be here. They got snowed in, and it was it was a choice between death or the European press, and they chose to stay in New York. I think a good decision was finally made. But they loved, she's married, Jessica's dating, they like love stories, and I think a lot of people like them. They're not done very well, because guess what? Sometimes you know how they're going to end. But in our stories, we have a few times, I think, we surprise people, and when it ends correctly with the right music, it's really a feeling that you don't get really in a dark room all alone for 2 hours.
Absolutely. Do you all like love stories, and do you understand why people love them so much as well, Emma?
Yeah, I love love stories. I mean, who doesn't? I think that it's nice to watch a movie that, even if it doesn't have a happy ending, like a real ending is just as good. But no, it's just like being in love is such a nice feeling. So to be able to see that feeling on screen is just nice, especially when it's a great story.
Yeah. Ashton, how about you?
Yeah, I think love is one of the most elusive things in the world. I don't know that there's a perfect formula for it, and that's what I think makes the stories interesting, because even though we all have an idea of where it's heading in the end, it's how are we going to get there that makes it interesting. And you know, when I read this script, I saw there was a line that my character had, which is, "Love is the only shocking act left on the planet." And when I saw that, I really connected with the material, because I think when we look around the world, it's very easy to imagine hate. It's very easy to imagine greed. It's very easy to imagine destruction. And the media makes it even easier to imagine that, because the media loves to report on conflict. And so what the images that we see daily make it easy to believe that the world could be destroyed in the push of a button. And
ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey